This is Community Forum. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Community Media. And today our spotlight is on Angels Castle. Our guest, Dr. Beatrice Porras and Louis Reyes. Welcome both of you to the program. Let's begin, Louis, when we talk about Angels Castle. What is Angels Castle?
Well, thank you for having us here, Kurt. Angels Castle is a nonprofit organization for young adults with special needs. It'll focus on the creation of a campus in the Springfield Township area. They'll provide residential, recreational, and vocational activities.
Why Springfield Township?
Well, this very interesting story. This was the one location that had very beautiful parcel of land, about 20 acres, still had a creek. It seemed like the middle of nowhere, untouched by society, very beautiful, but still had access to a lot of resources in the surrounding Cincinnati area. So a lot of space, but in the middle of somewhere, not in the middle of nowhere.
You are the co-founder and president of the board of directors of Angels Castle. Tell me the reason for Angels Castle and how did it get started, the beginning of it?
Of course. Thank you, Kurt, for having us here today. The reason for Angels Castle is my son, my youngest son, his name is Marco. He was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder when he was 2 years old. And as he was growing up and we were growing old, we were thinking what is going to happen to him after he graduates from high school. Because, the system works that we have support until they graduate from high school. After they graduate from high school, a little bit is like you are on your own. And so we were looking for places for him, and we didn't find many places around here. So we started visiting other states, and we found that there are amazing places in other states. So we started collecting information from those other campuses, and we came out with the idea in 2018 and started Angels Castle. Then we looked for the land, perfectly located in the middle of Cincinnati, close to the airport, so we can serve the tri-state area. And we started thinking about the building, about who we could serve, people with intellectual disabilities after they are 22 years old, and they can grow old with us. They can have education, they can have recreation, they can have a family, and most important of all, the parents can think, okay, well, I have my son, my daughter there, they have another family, so when they pass away, their kids are going to be fine. They are going to have another family, the family of Angels Castle.
I love that story. That's a great story. Louis, you're the treasurer, and soon you'll become the head of Angels Castle at some point. Now, at Angels Castle, you feature educational programs, entertainment, medical, therapeutic services. Tell us about that. Elaborate a little bit more on those programs.
Of course, excellent questions, Kurt. So we're going to start off with an educational program. This will be a typical 8 to 3 or 8 to 4 school day with a typical high school block system, like 8 to 8:45 a math class, 9 to 9:45 science. But the difference is we'll also incorporate things like horseback riding class or how to be an adult class, things of that nature. And we designed it that way because we found that this population, once they age out of high school, they kind of lose touch with an academic setting. There are hardly any services that give them access to math classes or reading classes to fine-tune for their level. And this is a population that's very diverse as well, and they appreciate other skill sets as well, like horseback riding or more practical classes, like how to live on your own class as well. So that'll be the first phase. The second phase, we will incorporate horseback riding, building the stalls and things of that nature, because horses are very difficult to maintain. And so we do want to get our feet wet first with the educational phase before incorporating things like animal husbandry and the things that are a bit more complicated. Then the third phase will be the residential phase. We're planning on constructing 8 living units, I believe. that will house 32 participants. And the idea is to kind of simulate a bit of an undergraduate experience where these 8 living units they'll have roommates for 4 participants per living unit. Roommates will be carefully selected, but they'll have to learn how to be more independent, make their own beds, cook their own food, with appropriate supervision, of course. But the overall idea is to give this population a chance to discover their passions and nurture those passions as well, and learn how to be effective members to society and to contribute in their own ways.
Louis just mentioned the key word nurturing, and I think that's so important. My family is touched by someone who has autism. Loud noises bothers him. He's done extremely well, but there's all different levels of autism, is that not correct?
Yes, it's called the spectrum, because you can have, kids that are really highly autistic and they don't communicate. They are completely isolated from the world. And you have the kids that are extremely smart, but of course they have their social issues. They don't do well socializing, they don't make eye contact, but they are extremely brilliant. So what we want to do at Angels Castle is we want to help them find their passion. Like you found your passion doing what you are doing, and I did find my passion too. But a lot of times these kids don't have the chance to find their passion because they are not given the chance, or they are not given the opportunities. So they end up maybe bagging groceries because that's all they were offered. And I'm not saying that is not okay to do that, but if you enjoy it, if you feel that that's something fulfilling, so fulfillment is what we want them to have to find that.
Louis, you have an aspect where you can, from Angels Castle, connect with businesses, different companies. Tell us about that.
Of course. So right now, I go to the University of Kentucky College of Medicine, and we're currently developing a plan to involve the school more directly, especially with volunteers, in terms of participating in Angels Castle. We would also be very open and willing to accept companies that are looking for volunteer work, like community service hours and things of that nature. And we would also we've also partnered with businesses in the past, like with certain bakeries and things like that. I think Gold Star Chili at some point, where they run like a promotional item on their menu for us. We would be open to anything.
You have those who have autism who can be part of the program, teaching or training. Tell us about that.
Of course, we would love to have people on as members of the board. We would very much appreciate their insight as to what it's like having autism spectrum disorder or an intellectual disability, because as much as I can read about it in a textbook, it's not the same as actually living the experience. And having someone able to tell us what it's like would be very insightful as to how to help this population a lot more. And of course, we want to be, I was just telling you a lot about how we want to help these participants be effective members of society and how to make their own income. We would love to directly help those participants in that way as well. So having things like participant mentors, or people help teach others how to do horseback riding or things of that nature. Just, it could be typical jobs, but those typical jobs could be reserved for participants with intellectual disabilities or autism or anything of that nature. So we want to be an important step in that process directly, and if they don't want to work with Angels Castle and have other dreams and aspirations, we would love to help them with that too.
By having those type of jobs, I think it's the first step of them feeling confident. And am I right on this, that they can move on to something else? Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's very important also to train the community to be more accepting. So we are talking about also at Angels Castle to be able to train companies, big companies, say Procter & Gamble, say Delta, to be able to hire and find in any way a job for this community, because some of these people have amazing gifts that they find later because they are not given the opportunity. But say if we train all these companies to be more accepting, to be more open, they can find jobs in these places. People can become more open-minded, more accepting. And that's also one of the missions of Angels Castle. And of course, we're going to start doing that ourselves. So hiring also autistic people and people with intellectual disabilities that can help us, because they understand better what the participants are going through.
Also, you have events, which we certainly can go to your website as well, correct?
Yes, and we love doing these events. Of course, we do one fundraiser every year, and these parties are very popular because we make it, the first year we did something with the Cincinnati Opera and people enjoyed it. The second year, I think we had like a flamenco party, and we have like amazing food and performances. And this coming September, we have a salsa party. We are gonna have performances too, and Colombian food. And people really love these events.
And you can go to your website to get more information.
Yes, angelscastle.org, and you can find information. We are going to post the invitation very soon, so you can all join us and come and be part of Angels Castle and just have some fun.
And Louis, what I find interesting is the fact is that my relative found a place where he feels comfortable nurturing, developing, has a wide variety of interest. This particular week, it's being an actor. Next week, it could be something else. But that's really what this is about. When you're building this kind of a campus, I'm sure that's what you're building for, is to find, as your mom said, the passion that an individual offers.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. How can the community help out?
Excellent question, Kurt. We would very much appreciate it if the community helped us spread the word. We host a lot of really fun fundraising opportunities. We would love for the community to attend those. And we always appreciate finding out about other organizations like us. I think a couple years ago, or 4 years ago to be exact, we went on a trip to Michigan, Indiana, and Wisconsin, and we got in touch with Shepherd's College, Benjamin's Hope, Hannah and Friends, and we got to learn from them and kind of compare and contrast like how differing our missions were, and what do we like about what these organizations are doing, what can we maybe take and maybe improve or try out on our own. So my understanding is that there are so many organizations like this all over the country, each with their little specific niche, and I think this is a case where definitely it takes a village. And if we can all come together, maybe we can accomplish something really, really great.
In building that village, as he was talking about, you have a staff, but you need volunteers.
We love to have more volunteers. We love to have more people on our board of directors too. Please, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We have a website too, is angelscastle.org. And of course, we need donations. We need wisdom, we need people of all kinds that can help us in different ways. Maybe retired teachers that want to come and help, maybe therapists that want to come and volunteer their times, because of course, we need speech therapists, we need social workers, we need psychologists. So the whole community, everyone can help us.
Your mother mentioned one social media platform. What platforms can someone find you on?
Oh, well, there's too many to count. So we have Instagram, Facebook, find us on GuideStar as well. We have a YouTube channel. Just Google us, just Angels Castle, and we should be the first thing to pop up.
Well, I did Google you.
Perfect, yeah.
And found your website, very impressive website.
Thank you.
Very easy to navigate through the website and to find out if you want to be a volunteer or get involved in whatever way. I love the idea of taking retired teachers and becoming part of it. I think that's a very important part of the program. I applaud both of you for having this type of a program. My relative couldn't find it in the area. They moved to another state. They were able to find it there. And I just think Angels Castle is something that can certainly benefit the community. And we certainly appreciate you being in Springfield Township.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
This has been Community Forum. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Community Media. We'll see you next time.